Ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all. It is a diplomatic victory for the President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin. Yes, this Easter truce that he managed to establish is resonating internationally. He claims victory. Yes, you know that Vladimir Putin unilaterally declared a ceasefire. He ordered his army to stop hostilities for 30 hours. And it is already in effect. So, Vladimir Putin ordered it because Ukraine and its President Zelensky wanted to show the world that the only person who did not want a ceasefire and lasting peace in Ukraine was Vladimir Putin. And so, to respond to his critics, Vladimir Putin decided to establish this ceasefire. But today, the ceasefire is resonating very favorably, always in favor of Vladimir Putin, but it is provoking a very strong reaction from Kiev. Kiev reacted, but seriously. And then, there you have it. The situation is still unfavorable for Ukraine. So, what is actually happening? In this video conference, that's what we are going to talk about. But before continuing, ladies and gentlemen, I humbly ask you to share this video conference. It should be shared as much as possible in all possible groups. Share as much as you can. So, what needs to be said? You know that the President, Vladimir Putin, is very strategic. He's a very clever man. In his cunning, he has just responded to two things. Firstly, you know that the United States of America threatened to withdraw from the negotiations if one of the parties made it very difficult to achieve a ceasefire, or in any case, a peace agreement. So, we know that. The first moratorium that was found for the 30-day ceasefire, it was Ukraine that was the first to violate it. Then Russia also joined in the violation. But just yesterday, the United States of America threatened. Today, Putin made this decision. So, on the international level, this is perceived as a diplomatic victory. It shows, it already demonstrates Russia's goodwill to move towards peace. It demonstrates Russia's goodwill. And on the other hand, Russia shows that Ukraine is the problem. If Russia was able to unilaterally decree unilaterally, meaning it alone decides on a 30-hour ceasefire, it means that Russia can go further. It has the will. And in addition to that, Russia proceeded with the release of Ukrainian prisoners. 277 prisoners were able to return home, were able to return to the country. So, Russia shows that it is truly ready. And so this casts a dark shadow over Ukraine. And that's how Volodymyr Zelensky comes out and reacts. So, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you once again to share this video conference. Make sure to give it a lot of likes. Yes. So, President Volodymyr Zelensky made a statement. He couldn't just remain without reacting. Zelensky stated that if Russia truly respects the Easter truce, it itself declared, then Ukraine will respond symmetrically. So, Ukraine always puts this, always shifts the responsibility and the ball into Russia's court. Ukraine says that if Russia respects it, since Ukraine wants to demonstrate clearly that Russia was the first to violate the 30-day ceasefire moratorium. Ukraine wants to show it by A plus B that it is Russia that does not want peace, since Zelensky has always insisted on this. He has always said that it is Russia that does not want peace, and so it was necessary to compel Russia to move towards peace. So, Zelensky says that if Russia respects the 30 hours, then Ukraine will respond symmetrically. he makes a proposal. So Kiev proposes to extend the truce beyond the Easter holiday, thus up to 30 days. If Russia respects the 30 hours, Ukraine proposes to go up to 30 days. And so, here is an indirect ceasefire agreement that is emerging without an intermediary. And let's say there is no intermediary, but it is with the pressure of the United States of America. This is due to the pressure, the disinterest that America is showing towards the negotiations between the two states. That's what's putting the pressure. Each state wants to show that it is truly more ready than the other. But the truth is that Zelensky is making this proposal, but Zelensky doesn't have the slightest concern. Zelensky really has no desire for the conflict to end. So, there are questions that arise. Zelensky says, we must continue for 30 days to test Moscow's sincerity. For Zelensky, Moscow is not sincere. But what should not be forgotten either is that during the 30-day moratorium that had been obtained, the United Kingdom and France were working on an operational plan to destabilize this moratorium. Even if Ukraine wanted to remain intact without doing anything, France and the United Kingdom had planned destabilization operations. These two countries wanted to take actions with Ukraine to attribute these actions to Russia. So this is what might happen. Taking actions of destabilization. During these 30 hours, they will take actions. Even Zelensky is capable of launching missiles on his own territory, to then say, I told you that Russia was not sincere. Let's wait and see, right? I told you that. The ongoing situation, we will follow it and see what happens. So, Zelensky is trying to demonstrate by A plus B that Russia is not sincere. That's why Zelensky challenges Russia. If Russia is sincere, let's go up to 30 days. However, it is he himself who is not sincere, because between the two, which is the country that has an interest in the conflict continuing, it's Ukraine. Or at least between the two presidents who has an interest in the conflict continuing. It's Volodymyr Zelensky who has an interest. Because as long as the conflict continues, once again, his power happens to be protected. So, the situation at hand here is the situation we are facing. But already Russia has released 277 additional Ukrainian soldiers who are returning home after their captivity in Russia. The announcement was made by Zelensky, who also says, our homes have excellent news. So, 277 defenders are returning home to them. It should be noted that these 277 were the ones defending Mariupol and other areas in the Donetsk, Kherson, and Zaporizhzhia regions, and Luhansk. So they have been in captivity for a long time. Moreover, the Ukrainian president thought that these people were being sent to eternal rest, but instead, they were in captivity. Zelensky says this. He says, we all remember. We remember all those who are in captivity. We are searching for all those who might still be held. We must bring them all home. This is what he concluded his speech with. So, ladies and gentlemen, these past 24 hours that we have just initiated are decisive. I was going to say, for the Russo-Ukrainian conflict. But on our side, we will continue to follow everything that will result from it. We will come back to always discuss it here on the platform of Awakening of Consciousness. So thank you to all of you. I will be back shortly with new updates. This was the voice of your one and only samurai.